Welcome to episode 2
of our guide to the open road, where we're going to help teach you what we know about RVing.
Which isn't much.
Because we're not professionals. Have been RVing for a few years now, so like 15, 16, 17, I don't know, but we're going to walk you through everything from how to pick an RV to getting onto the road with your RV and all the stops in between. So if you haven't already watched episode 1, we highly recommend watching that before you watch this episode. So go ahead and hit pause. Click the link above or in the description below to episode 1 and go watch that real quick before you watch this.
Because we don't want you guys to cheat and skip through some of these. So these are going to be a 9, maybe now 10 part series. So make sure you watch number 1 to see which RV is right for you.
And we'll just wait. We'll be right here when you come back. Okay, so now that you've watched episode 1...
That was pretty cheesy.
So now that you've watched episode 1 and you've decided what kind of RV is right for you, is it a towable? Is it a drivable? Is it a travel trailer or a fifth wheel? If it's a drivable, is it a Class A or a Class B or a Class C?
Or a Super C?
Him and his Super C. But now that you've decided what you want, we want to kind of break it down and walk through our buying tips. And again, not professionals. This is not our job, but we've learned over the years and we've been given some advice over the years on how to purchase exactly what you want and be happy with it, because nobody wants to buy a travel trailer and then get home and find out it doesn't have some amenity you want, or maybe you should have gotten. Nobody wants to have buyer's remorse, right?
So first of all, you're going to want to browse again.
And by browse, we mean literally that. Go to the RV dealerships. If you have multiple ones in your area, go to all of them. Like spend an afternoon on the weekend or Saturday afternoon at one, Sunday at the other. If there are RV shows in your area, some are bigger than others in different towns and places. Some of them don't even have RV shows. But if you do, go to the RV show. So
we recommend RV shows.
Right.
Mainly. Not because of dealers or whatever, but if you go to an RV show, most of the time they have all different types of RVs, the brands and stuff there.
And most of the time, all the local dealers are going to be there.
Yes.
So the problem with going to multiple dealerships, and this is at where we're from, in our hometown, there are probably 5 or 6 RV dealerships.
They're not close.
No, there are 2 that are within a 30-minute drive of one another. The rest of them are spread all out.
Well, we do have a Camping World and a General right next door in Richmond.
Right, and then down further south, there's a local one, and then there's another local one that are kind of close. So the problem is, let's say you go to dealership 1, and they carry Keystone and Forest River. And they won't carry all Keystones and all Forest Rivers, because this other dealership may carry some Keystones or some Forest Rivers, maybe
it's a bad game, guys.
Only this one, has Grand Designs, or only this one has Winnebago. So the problem is, if you go to one and you look, let's say you're looking for a fifth wheel that's a bunkhouse, and you look at what they have to offer, and you kind of narrow it down to there's one at that dealership you like. Then you go to the next dealership and you look at similar floor plans, and then you find yourself going, oh my God, remember that one we liked? Did it have this? Or what did the pass-through storage look like? Or do you remember where the sofa was?
So
and the only option is to drive 45 minutes back across town to look at it. Versus at a show, there will be multiple brands, multiple dealerships. It'll be a lot easier to just walk to the other side of the area that the RVs are
There
in.
is something we'll recommend here that we didn't even talk about before we started to do this video. Lisa used to take a bunch of pictures on her phone. So if you go to a camper and you kind of like the idea of the way it is, take pictures and
or video.
Take pictures and video. She would even take a tape measure, and we would measure: is her crock pot going to fit here? Is her pans going to fit in here? So that was just something else we weren't even going to talk about, but that was
well, and that's very helpful. Because back in the day when we first started RVing, you'd have to get the brochures that they give you, right?
Now someone want to give you cards.
And then still, you've never had the picture of what you wanted. Maybe it had the floor plan, but it didn't answer your question. So pictures and videos, 100%, you should do that on your phone. Or if, you have a little camera or whatever. And take pictures and videos of the things that are super important to you, because you'll forget. And once you start looking at multiple ones, you'll just get lost in all of the
And that's why we recommend
details.
going to the shows, because if you see this camper over here that you really, really liked, and you see a camper over here you really, really liked, you can just walk back.
Right, versus having to get in the car and drive over there, and then get in the car and drive back here. That's all a mess. But so once you've kind of narrowed it down, so let's just say you wanted a fifth wheel. Now you've looked at several of them, and you really want a bunkhouse.
But hold on.
Or you don't.
The next thing we're getting ready to go to was a recommendation from a dealer that
Best piece of advice
that
ever.
we never even knew, never thought about it, and he came up with it. So it's going to be your deal breaker list.
Right. So your deal breaker list is different than our deal breaker list.
Our deal breaker list is different.
Ours is a little bit different. So
a lot different.
When we say deal breaker list, it's going to be something that, depending on you, you're going to want to write it down. Or maybe if you take notes in a notepad on your phone, or you have some sort of list feature on your phone that you like to use, you're going to want to make a list. And it's not going to be one or two things. So if you're that person that needs a pad of paper and something to write on, run real quick and get that. If you're going to do it on your phone, open up the app. If you want to do it on your laptop, grab your laptop. While you're doing that, while you're grabbing your paper or grabbing your laptop, it's a perfect time for us to do a little station identification. For those of you who don't know, we are
Jimmy and Lisa, and we're with FindUsCamping.
If you've been here before, thank you. We're glad you're back. If you've not been here before,
why not?
Well, we hope you'll stick around. And we hope you'll go back and watch episode 1 and then episode 2 and then all the following episodes. But while you're at it, if you'll go ahead and click that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up.
And ring that bell so you won't miss
episode
the
3
next
and
episode.
4, right?
6, 7, 8, 9. How many of them this is to learn how to buy an RV and hit the road?
Because there's a lot of steps, guys. There's a lot you need to know. So hopefully you're back with your pad and paper. You've got your app open, and we can discuss a deal breaker list. And we won't go through all the things because there's a lot of them. But the advice we were given is to make a deal breaker list. And what that means is make a list of needs. Your needs are different than my needs. And then make a list of wants. And then combine those into your deal breaker list, where you list needs and wants from greatest to least importance. Now,
and they change. That's the funny thing, because
they
when we
do.
first started this, our thing we thought we really, really, really need, and we would not buy one without it, was a king-size bed.
And we currently have a queen.
We have a king-size bed, but we change it to a queen just to give us a little bit more room. So needs change.
And it works, so it's okay.
I'll tell you, my biggest need right now is my hot water on demand. That I want. That's my need, because I need my princess shower. I want to take that 30-minute shower if I need it. So.
Okay, so if you need a king-size bed, if you need hot water on demand, if you need bunks. Now, don't hear me out on the bunks. Even if your kids are grown, maybe you want bunks because 3 out of 4 times that you go camping, you're going to take your grandkids with you.
Or your kids.
Trust me, especially with littles, a bunkhouse is going to be easier. And I don't care if the dinette folds into a bed and the sofa folds out to a bed. That gets to be a pain in the butt if every morning you've got to fold it back up and fold the blankets back up and put the sheets away. Now, if those said grandkids are only coming once every 5 or 6 times, okay, then that's a great option.
Don't buy a camper for them.
But if they're coming all the time with you, if you know that every time you go out camping, they're going to want to come, go ahead and at least look at the bunkhouses, because there are options. Like our bunkhouse that we had, they were all bunks, but we could have swapped out one of the bottom bunks for a couch. So then that can kind of turn into a man cave or a separate place for the kids to go sit on the couch and watch a movie if it's raining outside, or play video games if that's what they're into. And then at night it turns into a bed, but it's not taking up your living room area while they sleep. So those are just some things to toss around. I know a lot of people get bunk rooms and turn them into offices.
Or they get garages and turn them into master bedrooms.
So whatever your deal breaker list is, be it the size of bed, we really, and we've never had one, but I feel pretty strongly that I don't want a corner shower. It's probably down at the bottom of my deal breaker list, but it's one of those things that I really don't want a corner shower. If you have little kids again that need a bath,
because a lot of RVs don't have bathtubs.
right, but some of them do, and they're not really deep, they're shallow, but if that's something for you, if your kids need a bath versus a shower, or you like a bath versus a shower, that needs to be on your list.
Well, how about those 6'5" guys that need that tall shower? So that would be a
You,
need.
sir, or ma'am, need to go into the shower of any RV that you look at to make sure you have enough room height-wise in there.
For width, because
He
my
has wide
shoulders are wider,
shoulders.
so I got to make sure that I can at least turn around in that shower. So that's another need. It's not a want. It's
Well,
a need.
I mean, yeah,
so.
you need to be able to take a shower if you want to, and without, like, standing like this. So these are all just different things that you need to think about, and you need to make your list.
So that list can be this long or this long. It's
probably going to be this long.
So once you get your list all straight and you got your needs and your wants and maybes and all that kind of stuff, that's when you start browsing again.
Now you're going to browse more specifically. You're going to look for certain floor plans, right? If you really need a bunkhouse, then you don't need to go into an RV that doesn't have one.
Well, if you do need a bunkhouse, this is where we need to let you guys know. And we learned this a couple of years ago. And this doesn't hold true to every single RV. But when you walk up to the door, there's numbers on the side of the door. One of our very first ones was a 311 BHS. The 3111, the 31 meant 31 foot long. The BHS meant bunkhouse. We looked at I don't remember the numbers, say it was a 405 flock. It was a front living room, outside kitchen. So there's a lot of things that you can read, like fusions. If it's a 428, the 4 means it's a triple axle. If it's a 373, that means they're a double axle.
Which seems kind of screwy because you would think it would be a 2 and a 3. But at any rate...
But you can learn those.
Right.
And a lot of times the numbers mean mean the length. And the length is different on every RV.
Right. They all measure length different. It might be, say, on a travel trailer from the, hitch where it hooks onto your trailer ball to the total rear end of the camper, or it might be
the rear end.
It might be the length of the box that you live in. So that'll at least kind of give you an idea. So if it's a 35 something, it's probably around 35 feet. It's not a guarantee, but it kind of gives you an idea. If it has BH in the name,
it's a bunkhouse.
It's a bunkhouse.
The other good thing is you can go online, say you like to, and these are older campers because I don't remember all the numbers, but a 311 BHS, you really, really like that, and that was a Keystone product. You want to see if any other manufacturers make them because they're going to be the same layout, but they look different inside. So you can Google 311 BHS.
A lot of times they'll use the same numbers and stuff.
So it'll come up to, and these aren't, but it'll be a Keystone 311 BHS, a Grand Design 311, a Jayco. So you'll get 3 or 4 different manufacturers with the same layout. So that could help you too.
And if you do find a lot of times when one manufacturer nails a floor plan, the others will copy and have a similar version.
They copy a lot and change a little bit here.
Right.
And there.
So there'll be little changes from different manufacturer, different brands. And so go look at all of them, because you may love the floor plan of this one, but you hate the color of the cabinets. Well, that other manufacturer that has a similar floor plan, you may love their interior. So go look at them all. You really do want to check out all of them.
This
and
isn't
that little
easy,
number,
guys. It's not. You're not just
No.
unless you just run to go get whatever you find. If you're looking for something that's going to fit you, first of all, there's no perfect RV. So if you're looking for one that's 9 out of 10, you're not going to find that thing right away, most likely.
Well, and you may find one now that fits your needs perfectly. You find a bunkhouse because your kids are 8, 10, and 12. But in a few years, that older child may not be going with you anymore, or they might. And this child may always want to bring a friend, and this one may not. So you may go from needing a bunkhouse to we don't really need a bunkhouse anymore. Now that the kids have gotten older, they don't want to go camping with us. So there's all these things. But the goal here is to buy an RV that at least is going to last you a few years, that you're not going to get it home and take it out the first time.
First time.
Yeah, and go, God, this is a horrible decision. So we're just trying to help you think of all the things. So,
but there's another thing we didn't discuss once again, and we've done this many, many times at RV shows. I found the RV that I like. We found the 428 Fusion that we have right here. We will go to that RV show, and we will sit right here in these chairs. And we will listen to people as they walk by.
Yes.
And that's one thing that we didn't discuss before we did this video. We'll listen and somebody go, I hate this camper because, and you go, oh, never thought about this. Or I really love this camper because, and you go, wow, never thought of that.
Because the thing is, when it's what you want or you think you want it and you start getting excited, like this is perfect. It's just perfect. It's got this and this and this. And these are like our top 3 things. It's going to be perfect. If you listen to somebody walk through, and like we had an RV one time, a fifth wheel, that it had recliners and it had a bunkhouse in the back. And the thing we didn't know until we took it on a trip was if the person in the recliner had the recliner out, you couldn't get in and out of the bunkhouse.
Everybody had to put their feet down.
So every time somebody wanted to get to the back bedroom, whoever was sitting in the recliners, the first 2 had to put their feet down for them to get back through there. Also, we had an island. If I was cooking, you either had to make me scoot over to get through between me and the island. Get out of my way. Or all 3 people in the recliners had to put their feet down for you to get around the other side of the island. So little things like that. While you're sitting, you're kicked back in the recliner.
Because people will sit in all those chairs.
They will.
You'll see somebody walk through and they go, I can't even get through here if you're sitting here.
Yeah, and kick them out. Kick the recliners out. Sit the way you think you would sit if your family was in it. And then see if everything is still accessible. And if not, is what's not accessible a big deal? Like, oh, so I got the recliner out, it blocks the pantry. Okay, well, we're not going to get in the pantry every 5 minutes, so that's not a big deal. Versus it blocks the bathroom. That might be more of a problem.
So that is a true pro tip right there. I'm going to take the pro tip on
and
that.
If, and everybody doesn't, I know, but if you watch TV, sit in the chairs the way they are and make sure you're not having to sit like this.
We had one like that.
To watch the TV.
We would pull the TV out to turn it so the people over there can see it and these people could see it.
Right.
We pulled it this way, those people couldn't see it.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. A lot of them will pull out and you can turn them. But if still everybody can't see the TV and you're going to watch TV or watch movies or whatever, and think about it, if it's raining or it's cold outside, the kids are coming in.
The salesperson said, who's watching TV
when you're camping?
RVing? Well, today it's 33 degrees and the wind is blowing outside. We're going to be watching TV.
And it was raining this morning. So nobody's sitting outside in the cold and the rain. They're all going to come in, and if you've got the kids, they're going to play video games or they're going to watch TV. They're going to be doing something. And so you need to make sure that it's livable while you're doing the things you want to do, whatever those are.
So now once you found it, now we got the RV, and I'm going to use the Keystone Fusion 428 because that's the one we picked. Now we found it. Now the tricky part.
Now we have to pick a dealer.
You got to pick a dealer. And all dealers are not created equal.
They are not. So I think the thing most of us are most familiar with is probably owning a car or a truck. Because I think most of you probably own one or the other. And we're all used to, if I have a Ford, it doesn't matter if I'm in California, I can go to a Ford dealer. If I have a Chevy and I'm in Illinois, I can go to a Chevy dealer. RVs don't work so much the same way. In theory, they do. And if you talk to a lot of dealerships, oh yeah, it's not a problem. But we have found, especially with a lot of the local dealerships, they put their customers first. And what I mean by that is if I bought an RV from Jimmy's dealership and you bought an RV from Bob's dealership, if I need to come to Bob's dealership, he's going to take you in ahead of me. And the same thing over here. If you are in town and you need to get to Jimmy's dealership and I'm a customer that purchased my RV from him, he's going to put me ahead of you in line. That's not always the case, but it seems to be a rule because it's not like car dealerships where GM is over this dealership or Ford is over this dealership. It is not the same way. The dealerships are independent. They choose who they choose the brands that they sell. And so nobody really has any control over that. So I will say that. And I will also put a plug in for a lot of the local mom and pop dealerships are great. Like, they're great for dealing with them. They're great for local financing. They're great for being convenient, and think about that too. So what that means is if I bought from Jimmy's RV dealership and he's 5 minutes up the road, that's great. That's convenient. Or if I bought from Jimmy's RV dealership and he's 2 hours away, when I need service, I've got to go 2 hours away every time I need to take it in for something, which hopefully isn't often, but keep that in mind, because what that probably means is you're not going to drive 2 hours and want to drive home and then drive back tomorrow and pick it up.
Our favorite dealership is Showalter RV. And if we're at our home base, he's 750 miles away. But we took that, and I would rather do that. So
yes,
if I have an issue, I have a problem, I'm driving up there and I'm going to get it fixed. Thank goodness we're full time, so we can schedule our trips to get up there.
So pick a dealership, ask your friends, ask your family, Google reviews. And don't just take the Google review, read through the reviews, because there's probably plenty of bogus ones on there, and make a decision on the dealership that you want to deal with, and make sure that they offer the brand you want to buy, because it's not like every Ford dealer has a Ford Mustang. RVs aren't, again, not the same way as a car dealership. So you're going to have to pick a dealer that sells the brand you want. So now that you've decided what you want, you've decided on your dealership. I didn't
realize it was that hard to pick and buy an RV.
It's not. You can roll out and just buy one, but there's a good chance that you're going to get home and take it out the first time and go, gosh, I didn't even think about that. That is such, it's so annoying.
We hope these are helping you guys a little bit, because we've gone through this. We've had many, many RVs, and we've learned over the years of what we should have done or what we could have done better, and we've listened to you guys also to learn.
It's very helpful to listen and pay attention. Especially, like we said at the RV shows, like, listen to what people are saying. But once you've picked your RV, you've picked your dealership.
Can I buy it now?
We're going to buy it.
All right.
We're going to go. We're going to buy it. We're going to go in. We're going to maybe have a salesperson that was recommended by somebody else, or maybe not. Maybe we're just going to take what we get.
We're going to wing it.
But we're going to go in, and I would recommend, once you get your person, to say, hey, we are fairly certain that we want to buy a Keystone Fusion 428. But before we sign on the dotted line, let me run my deal breaker list by you, just in case maybe there's a brand new floor plan that just came out that you don't know anything about. And he can go, oh my gosh, I hear that that's what you want.
But you got to come check this one out.
But you got to come check this one out first, because it sounds like it might have everything you want. And it might even be a better fit than that one. Okay, that's cool.
This has happened.
Yeah, this has happened. So that's okay. Go check it out. Change your mind. Do what you're going to do. Again,
you have the right
go
to
through
change
your list.
mind.
Pick what you want. Now we're going to sit down and we're going to sign on the dotted line.
But
sometimes they may need to order the RV. Maybe the one you want, they don't have. Maybe they have a Keystone Fusion, but they don't have a 428. But they can order you one because they carry that brand. Okay, that's fine. Be sure when you order that you have a copy of what you're ordering. Like, if there are options, be sure that all the options that you want, that they're telling you you're going to get, are on this paper that is signed by somebody at that dealership and probably signed by you. Or if you're adding something to it. Like, we have friends that bought a travel trailer with a bunkhouse, and like I was talking earlier, that bottom bunk, you could swap it out for a couch. That was one of the things that they were supposed to get. And the dealership was ordering it, and when they called and told them to come pick it up, it didn't have that, along with a couple of other things. And the dealership tried to push them to it, but she had her paperwork that said, we ordered it like this, we signed it, you said this is what you were ordering, and this is what we want. Well, they could make all these changes. And she's like, no, you said you were ordering this, and that's what we were getting, and that's what I want. And so then they waited. So be prepared that could happen. I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm just saying I know somebody that it happened to. If you're ordering a toy hauler and it's supposed to have a generator, make sure it says that. If there's any options that you're adding or taking away, any changes that you're making, just make sure you have that buyer's order that says what you're getting. We have another friend that got something recently, and then when he got there, it didn't have the things.
It didn't have everything that he wanted, but he had it all on a piece of paper, which covered his butt.
And that's okay, because when he got there and it wasn't right, then the dealership was willing to take money off if he took the one they had in stock, even though, you know, they were willing to make some consolations for it not being right. And he had choices then at that point. He could wait for them to reorder it. He could take this one. He could take this one. And there was discounts and things like that offered to, you know, make up for the inconvenience. So you can do it either way. Just make sure that you have everything written down. And then when you go to pick it up, like if you sign the papers today, you're probably not taking the RV home today.
You're not taking the RV
Unless
home.
you sign the papers early this morning when they first opened, maybe you can pick it up this evening.
More likely not. And that's why next week's video is going to...
Right, because they're going to prep it. They're going to want to bring it in, clean it really good. And then they're going to bring you in and you're going to do a walkthrough where they're going to show you how to work everything, how to go through your list to make sure everything is right. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next episode, where we talk about the walkthrough. That was supposed to be, that was supposed to be in this video. It was all together, but the walkthrough list got really, really long, and we didn't want to keep you all here for 2 hours.
People have bad experiences in the walkthrough, so we want to make sure the walkthrough one is perfect for you guys. So next week, make sure you're ringing that bell so you'll know when the next video comes out. So
make sure you've watched episode 1 and episode 2, and you're ready for episode 3. And I'm going to go ahead and say for episode 3 with the walkthrough, you're going to want to bring that notepad or your phone with the app on it or your laptop or however you keep a list, because we're going to go over a lot of things that you want to be sure you check off when you're going through your walkthrough.
So when you finally buy and purchase your camper and you go through all of this series and you finally get to go camping, maybe you'll find us camping out there.
Until that day, safe travels, y'all.